And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene, statewide across Oklahoma on Cox Yearview Channel 3, and around the world on YouTube. Let's take a look at this week's show lineup. We'll start with an in-depth look at Oklahoma State University's incredible $325 million new vision plan for the athletic facilities. Then from the campus of OSU, Zack Esposito, the associate head wrestling coach, joins us to wrap up the Big 12 meet, look ahead to the NCAA wrestling championships coming to Tulsa in 2 weeks. Koester, the head of the Oklahoma Sports Commission, will be here to talk about the impact of this NCAA wrestling championships, give us some ticket details as well, this major event in sports for the city of Tulsa. It's state basketball championship time across Oklahoma. And our own man Michael Knight of PrepHoops.com will give you all the top teams, all the top stars playing this week for the Gold Balls in Oklahoma high school basketball. And Dale Day delivers our first Remington report of the season, looking back at some of the training races. And I'll recap some of the big Kentucky Derby prep races this past week around the nation. It's now time to check our hot topics, Tulsa World's hot topics. We'll start with the Hoops' second season. Conference tournament basketball is underway this week. Selection Sunday is coming up March the 12th. Then they'll fill up the field of 68 teams for the NCAA championship tournament. For 3 of our area college basketball teams, the 2022-23 regular season has not gone very well. TU, OSU, and OU all combining for a 14-39 overall record. Meanwhile, Oral Roberts University earned the Summer League tournament's top seed, a 27-4 regular season record, the best since the 89-90 season at ORU. They were a perfect 18-0 in regular season conference play, and earned the team a steak dinner, by the way, at Tulsa's high-end Mahogany Steakhouse this past week here in Tulsa. And ORU claimed 4 of the top 6 Summit League individual honors, led by their 2-time Player of the Year, senior outstanding guard, one of the leading scorers in the nation, Max Asmus. Paul Mill named the Coach of the Year from Oral Roberts University, and the newcomer and best defensive player in the Summer League, the honor went to Connor Vanover. I want to remind you again, join us at Oklahoma's incredible Southern Hills Country Club for Bracketology Breakfast, their annual event. It's Monday, March the 13th, 7:30 in the morning. Join us as we have an expert panel to break down your bracket and give you all the teams to think about putting in your bracket as well. We include Paul Mills, the ORU basketball coach, retired Kansas Hall of Fame basketball coach Ted Owens. Also have a past chairman of the NCAA Selection Committee, Tom Burnett, then a very special video Zoom appearance by ESPN's own Mr. Bracketology, Joe Lenardi. All that at the Southern Hills Country Club. Breakfast this coming Monday, March the 13th at 7:30 in the morning. The OU women's gymnastics team remains number 1 after a thrilling victory over Florida on their home mat last Friday in front of 9,541 fans, second largest crowd in program history and bigger than any basketball crowd they've had this season for the Sooners. Senior Olivia Trotman led the way with a perfect 10 on the vault, and Coach KJ Kinlan Sooners have now won 68 straight home meets. Tulsa Oilers were on the road this past week, 2 games in Cincinnati, a 3-game weekend set at Kalamazoo, Michigan. Now they're back home. The Oilers will host this Friday and Saturday, March 10th and 11th. Division leader Cincinnati comes in to challenge the Oilers on their home ice. The other Oilers, the Oilers football team, the new indoor football team, they're starting their practices this week. Preseason practice at the Titan Main Sports Complex. The Oilers' first game is March the 24th at Frisco, Texas. The team's first indoor professional football game at the BOK Center will be April the 15th against Quad City. Head coach Marvin Jones, along with Luke Hamilton, their PR and voice of the team, will be here next week on Oklahoma Sports Scene with more information on the Oilers football team. How about this? Arkansas Razorbacks are going to be the first of our Big 4 football teams to start spring practice. Coach Sam Pittman's 4th team features 21 newcomers. He had 10 via the portal and 11 early enrollees from high school. Arkansas will have 5 of the 15 allowed practices before spring break. The Hogs spring game is set for April the 15th. TU, OU, OSU will be following their spring football practice as well. Get you updated on all of those coming up. Coming up, though, Oklahoma State had a huge announcement this past week, their new Vision Athletic Program Plan. We'll take a look at this in detail, what's going to be affected, how much it's going to cost, and what you can do to help out. Great vision for the Cowboys' future in athletics. That's all when we come right back. Oklahoma Sports Scene, thanks for joining us.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice with a new owner, a new look, and a new attitude. Save big on season tickets today. 2022-23 season. Tickets starting as low as $17 per month. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers are back.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine-in, curbside, or carry-out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Remington Park Racing returns with the 2023 Spring Quarter Horse season, running from March 9 to June 3rd. $1 million races, multiple Saturday programs featuring the best horses in big money action, and racing champions all competing throughout the season. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. First race at 6 p.m. nightly, Sunday afternoon racing 4 p.m. The top quarter horse paint and Appaloosa racing season continues through June 3rd at Remington Park.
This episode is sponsored by Equity Bank. Athletes work hard day in and day out to improve their game. They put in time and effort to stay in shape and bring their A game for the big day. Our tellers do the same thing with banking. We work hard to serve our communities and keep your money safe. Equity Bank. We never forget it's your money.
It was last week at Oklahoma State University in Stillwater. It was on February the 27th that the Oklahoma State Athletic Department revealed they call it their vision of the future. Here's the $325 million dream.
I'm Dave Hunziker, the voice of the Cowboys. It's my privilege today to introduce you to the OSU Athletics Vision Plan, a roadmap for the future and Oklahoma State's place in college athletics. This plan, which is in its conceptual stages, focuses on improving the success of our student athletes on and off the field, as well as the fan experience and the university's ability to attract student athletes across all programs.
So this facility vision plan represents the next step on the bold path that Boone Pickens put us on. Mr. Pickens envisioned OSU having the finest athletics village in the country, and this plan will make that vision a reality. As the college athletics landscape continues to change and evolve, now is the time for us to lean in and capitalize on all the progress that has been made over the last 20 years and take on a leadership role.
One of the key elements of this plan will include the Human Performance Innovation Complex and Football Center, immediately adjacent to the Sherman E. Smith Training Center.
Things have changed a lot from when we built this facility. There was a lot of time and effort that we put into this facility that we're in now. But as we all know, that planning went on 15 years ago. Things have changed. So we'll be able to update and bring in new thoughts in taking care of the student athletes. That's really what facilities are for now. The good ones, which we'll build here, will be really, really first class in taking care of the student athletes.
This state-of-the-art facility will benefit not just student athletes, but every community in Oklahoma by centralizing the university's existing human performance research programs while housing the Human Performance and Nutrition Research Institute.
We have a human performance center, which will be great for research. Can tie in our medical center in Tulsa, and we can do a lot of studies with athletes, and then put together some new facilities for football. As we move into a new conference, Dr. Schrum and Chad Weiberg are very, very interested in staying in the top facility-wise, and this gives us that chance.
In the west end zone of Boone Pickens Stadium, space will be repurposed and dedicated to improving the well-being of our student athletes. It will house, among other areas, the recently launched Student Athlete Success Center. This center will expand existing student athlete support programs such as academic services, student athlete development, and mental health.
This facility vision plan will have an enormously positive impact on every single one of our student athletes in so many different ways, and will give OSU the ability to best position them for success in this new era of college athletics.
Cowboy wrestling is the most successful program in the history of the NCAA, regardless of sport. And while the program recently received a significant locker room upgrade, additional space is needed. The plan includes a large addition to the north side of the athletic center.
We want to put a great product on the mat each and every year, and part of that process is facilities. Most of it is hard work. Most of it is busting your tail. But a nice facility, nice locker room that we have now, it's made a difference. It's brought guys together, and I think a room would do the same thing.
Cowgirls softball has established itself as one of the premier programs in the nation and one worthy of a best-in-class facility. A new softball stadium will be constructed just south of the current facility on the site of Ali P. Reynolds Stadium. The new softball facility will provide modern amenities worthy of a top-tier program, as well as amenities to enhance the fan experience and accommodate OSU's growing fan base.
I think a new stadium shows that from Dr. Schrum through Chad, our whole administration, that we are completely aligned and we are all in for the sport of softball. I think that as I talk to kids, that's all I've got to say. We already show that now, but a new stadium puts that to a level that is everlasting.
A new basketball practice facility is essential in helping both the Cowboy and Cowgirl basketball programs build on their rich histories of success. Plans for this expansion on the south side of Gallagher-Iba will feature 2 courts, a recruiting balcony, coaches' offices, but most importantly, it will prevent either team from being displaced while the game court is in use by other events.
GIA is a tremendous, game day facility. Like I said, the atmosphere in there is second to none, but it's just for game days, really. We're talking about the other facilities, the practice facility, the locker room, our training room, our weight room. Those are everyday facilities. Those are the places where the work really gets done.
The growth of women's basketball is happening every day. You can see that all across the country. As we continue to move forward and want to be able to compete with the best of the best in everything that we do, this is absolutely a necessity.
The men's and women's track and field programs support more than 100 student athletes that require year-round training and competition spaces. The plan features an indoor track facility north of the Sherman E. Smith Training Center and east of the Michael and Ann Greenwood Tennis Center. This space is ideally sized for a full indoor track program. It will provide our track and field teams with the infrastructure to train and compete at home regardless of the weather, something they currently do not enjoy.
I think having state-of-the-art facilities shows a level of commitment from the athletic department that track and field and cross-country athletes want to see. They want to know that wherever they go, what they do is valued and important, and that they are going to be appreciated as student athletes. And I think in this day and age, you've got to have state-of-the-art facilities to win those recruiting battles.
Other aspects of the vision plan include additional facilities for the Cowgirl Equestrian program, upgrades to Karsten Creek, the creation of a welcome plaza east of Gallagher-Iba Arena, and improvements to the seating bowl of Boone Pickens Stadium, a project which is already underway. Our commitment to excellence has been tested once again, this time by a fork in the road initiated by realignment. But once again, OSU has an answer. We're all in.
And to make this incredible Oklahoma State vision a reality, it's about $325 million, the preliminary price tag on that. Now it comes, of course, the real challenge of raising those figures. They don't want to do any borrowing. This is going to be all paid for, they're saying. Of course, what we need to find out is another donor like late T. Boone Pickens, God bless him. His 2006 gift of $165 million, what restarted everything at Oklahoma State University. They're rebuilding him Lewis Stadium, now T. Boone Pickens Stadium. We need a few more T. Boone Pickens to help us out here. One of the facilities expanding the school's wrestling training area for the most successful program in NCAA sports history. We have a representative of OSU Wrestling, their associate head coach, Zack Esposito, joining us. Also to wrap up the Big 12 tournament here in Tulsa. That's next on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
You did it, Tulsa. You named the team. We named the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine-in, curbside, or carry-out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
This episode is sponsored by Equity Bank. Athletes work hard day in and day out to improve their game. They put in time and effort to stay in shape and bring their A game for the big day. Our tellers do the same thing with banking. We work hard to serve our communities and keep your money safe. Equity Bank. We never forget it's your money.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Remington Park Racing returns with the 2023 Spring Quarter Horse season, running from March 9 to June 3rd. $1 million races, multiple Saturday programs featuring the best horses in big money action, and racing champions all competing throughout the season. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. First race at 6 p.m. nightly, Sunday afternoon racing 4 p.m. The top quarter horse paint and Appaloosa racing season continues through June 3rd at Remington Park.
The Big 12 Wrestling Championships were hosted this past weekend in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at the BOK Center downtown. The University of Missouri repeated as the team champions. Oklahoma State, by the way, the runner-up. To wrap up the Big 12 meet, we had to join us from Oklahoma State University, the associate head coach, Zack Esposito. I asked Zack and how he and head coach John Smith felt about their team's performance.
I think that guys wrestled well. I think at certain weight classes, they wrestled above their seeds. 125 being especially a guy that's coming in unseeded and taking third was something that was very important for him to be able to just qualify for the nationals, but also give himself momentum going into the nationals. Wrestling some guys that were, potentials All-Americans from a year ago. 3 get into finals. You wish you would have got that last win in the finals. But I think he could take that as momentum going into this national championship. But getting those 2 wins, Dustin Plott getting a revenge win, a revenge over a loss from Missouri kid, was good to see. And to see Dayton Fix separate the score from a guy that he wrestled a little bit tighter in a duel to get in a major decision, I think it was good. I think you just saw a little bit of attitude come out in that backside. That is the attitude you're going to have at the national championship.
Well, Zach, let's talk about this Big 12, the final standings there. Missouri winning their second straight title, 148 points. OSU right behind, 134, then followed by Iowa State, 131. OU at 97.5. Then schools you usually don't think about when you think about Big 12, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Northern Iowa, Air Force, Northern Colorado, Wyoming, Utah Valley, West Virginia, and California Baptist.
Northern Colorado, two champs, 2 Big 12 champs. Northern Colorado has a #1 ranked wrestler in the country that's undefeated. There's great coaches throughout the whole country. We have some affiliate schools that has made our lives harder on us, obviously, but it is a better tournament for us to prepare for the national championship. It's a better atmosphere for our conference. It's a better atmosphere for our wrestlers to be around. And we're competitive with the Big Ten in that sense. You look at schools like South Dakota State, you look at schools like Wyoming. Wyoming has a former national champ in Mark Branch from Oklahoma State that's their head coach. South Dakota State has a former national champ from Minnesota as their head coach. Northern Colorado has a former national champ as their head coach. So although the school's names may not seem, you know, as a name of another place, their programs and their departments are behind them, and you got to be ready to wrestle them every time. And I think it's been really good. The adding of the affiliates to our school to our conference has really, really built it up and turned it into, you know, if not one of the best conferences in the country.
Well, I guess the individual wrestler of the Cowboys you have to talk about again, the amazing Dayton Fix, #1 seed. He has just defended his crown, 4th Big 12 individual title in 5 years, 10-2 major decision over #3 seed from Iowa State, Zach Redding. Fix becomes the second wrestler in the conference history to become a 4-time Big 12 champion at 133. What a career.
Yeah, next year he has a chance to be a 5-time too, the way it is. But, you know, it's great. It's a stepping stone. I think right now, you know, after that match, when he walked off the mat, there was a different excitement level to him in a sense of like, okay, now I'm at the national tournament and I get to focus on this next step for me. And I think being able to appreciate what he did at the Big 12s of winning his 4th national title, you know, with him, it's pretty short delayed gratification and look forward to what he has ahead of him, and you know, has the opportunity to really go for it now.
We're visiting with Zack Esposito, the associate head wrestling coach at Oklahoma State University. And Zach, give us a bit of your background, which is very impressive. You're a Cowboy through and through, had a great career at OSU wrestling, multiple champions, the Big 12, incredible dual record I saw, just very impressive. And obviously you learned from the best and still working under the best. Coach John Smith.
Yeah. Originally, I'm from New Jersey. I've been in Oklahoma for 20 years, so I actually lived in Oklahoma longer than I have in New Jersey. Which, you know, I'm trying to keep my accent, but you know, my kids, I don't even recognize them. They have Okie accents, you know, so it's kind of funny. Married to a great Oklahoma woman, and you know, I came here in 2002, and we ran off 4 national titles: 2003, 4, 5, and 6. I was very fortunate to be a starter on 4 of those national championship teams. Something that I hold, you know, more valuable than even my individual national championship, which, you know, to me, and you ask many, is that it was one of the, you know, if not one of the best Cowboy wrestling teams, one of the best teams ever in college wrestling history, of having 5 national champs and 7 All-Americans the year that I won, with some notable great people on that team, guys that were Olympians, guys that are UFC champion, guys that are head coaches, Johnny Hendricks, Chris Pendleton, Steve Mocco, and then a 3-time national champ of Jake Rolshold, and a guy that was an All-American in Coleman Scott that was a head coach and now Olympic bronze medalist. So I've been very fortunate in my career to be able to stay in one place. The college coaching lifestyle can bounce you around, taking stepping stones here, doing things there. But for me personally, to have a mentor in John Smith and the rest of the department here has been something truly valuable to me. And, you know, I'm excited for the future and excited for just opportunities that lie ahead for our student athletes.
NCAA championships, Zach, you and John, the team, heading right back to Tulsa here, coming up March 16th, 17th, 18th, again at the BOK Center. So it's pretty much a sold-out event, incredible atmosphere. Who are the top teams nationally you'll be going up against?
Penn State is #1 ranked team right now. They have some horsepower. Iowa, who we got to wrestle this year, we lost the duel to them, and the score can look a little lopsided, but we had a lot of tight matches in there. And then really after that point, Missouri is a team that can be competitive for a trophy. Our performance, we can be competitive. We have just a lot of opportunities ahead of us. But you're going to see a lot of different teams, you know, teams that, you know, from back east in the EIWA that can be competitive. But there's a lot of great storylines this year in the NCAA championship. There's 2 guys that are going for their 4th national title at 125 and at 149. And that's something rare in itself. You got a great storyline of a Cowboy from the Tulsa area that's going after his first national title. So I think along with the team race, to see some individual performances is going to be, super exciting for fans to watch.
Well, Zach, what are your thoughts now on the recently announced OSU Athletics Vision Plan and its impact it's going to have on your wrestling program and facilities?
I think it provides that that environment for the student athlete. Right now I'm currently giving this interview on our recently new locker room, and we obviously Coach Smith. Talking to Coach Smith and listening to any interviews of Coach Smith, the facility doesn't make the wrestler. The facility doesn't make the person. Almost to some point where we almost think like kind of maybe we need worse conditions to actually make ourselves tougher and better. But after being in this locker room and after being around some things, it provides an environment for you to be with your student athletes a lot more. Since we've had this locker room, guys have been in here so much more that, the more they want to be in the gym, the better it is for you as a coach and for it. So to see this vision plan that the university has set out, and to see the department on board, to see the president of the school on board, it just shows you the support that and passion that Oklahoma State has to maintain excellence, and that's super exciting as an employee of the school, is to see the drive from the heads of the departments to want to keep progression. And we need it. We need it as a program, not just in recruiting, but in space. We have numbers of 40 athletes on our team, and we need that mat space. We need those opportunities to get better.
Zack Esposito, associate head coach under the great John Smith at Oklahoma State University. Again, Zach, congratulations on the strong performance of the Big 12. Wish you all the best in the national championships coming up. In fact, we're going to talk more about that with special guest Joe Koester is back with us from the Tulsa Sports Commission. Talk about what you can expect for the NCAA championships coming to the BOK in Tulsa.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We named the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
This episode is sponsored by Equity Bank. Athletes work hard day in and day out to improve their game. They put in time and effort to stay in shape and bring their A game for the big day. Our tellers do the same thing with banking. We work hard to serve our communities and keep your money safe. Equity Bank. We never forget it's your money.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene here at the Billy Sims Barbecue Restaurant at the Farm Shopping Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Familiar face here, Joe Koester joined us last week on the show. We talked about the Big 12 Wrestling Championships. Going to wrap that up with Joe, but also look ahead to the real big event, the NCAA Wrestling Championships coming up in just a couple of weeks here, again in Tulsa at BOK. Joe, let's first recap the Big 12 tournament. How did it go down there at the arena?
It was fantastic. You know, we had crowds that we haven't seen since before the pandemic, so it was good to see everyone come out, enjoy wrestling again. And, you know, we did a lot of different fan activations. If you're flying into town, you probably saw the Golden Driller wearing a singlet in the airport as kind of homage to Tulsa, and we did a lot of other activations for fans around town, which again, we really want to welcome people back. This is going to be the largest month of wrestling in Oklahoma history, kicking off with the Big 12 championships and then leading into, obviously, the NCAAs. So we're really excited.
March 16th, 17th, 18th, and here's the prize right here, the NCAA National Championship Trophy. And again, the best teams, the best wrestlers in the nation, and the best wrestling fans all be coming to Tulsa.
That's right. Yeah, we're excited. We're looking at right now anywhere between 20 and 25,000 fans coming in for the NCAAs. And again, we're prepared. We've been working on this for almost 2 years now, Chris, and the city's prepared as a destination. Our hospitality community, restaurants, everyone's ready. So again, we're ready to welcome all these folks to Tulsa and take in some good wrestling.
Oklahoma State will be the host university, as you might expect there. They've got such a great tradition, great history in the sport, and they'll be a major player again next couple weeks.
I believe so. They're showing this week at the Big 12 championships was great. They're really turning it on this second half of the season. If anyone's going to get a team fired up, it's Coach Smith. He knows what he's doing, and I'm excited to see Oklahoma, not only OSU but OU in the tournament. So,
let's have the Sports Commission. You don't get events like this without an infrastructure. And that's really been important. It's really been growing in Tulsa. Think of hotel rooms, restaurants, things like that downtown now.
Absolutely, Chris. So, these things just don't come to Tulsa. We're out there actively seeking them. But it's taken a long time to get to this point to bring in major championships like this. We'll get to in a second, talk about the Bassmasters Classic.
Right,
but, as our city continues to grow, it gives us and affords us the opportunity to host these types of championships. And, people ask all the time what our secret sauce is, because we've been bringing in all these championships lately. Tulsans. It's really the people. The infrastructure. We're one of the most philanthropic cities in the country. And watching this city grow really gives us an opportunity to, again, go after these national titles.
Number of hotel rooms have really increased downtown too, right?
Absolutely. Just within walking distance of the BOK Center, we now have 3,000 hotel rooms. And in the greater Tulsa region, we're right around that 18,000 room mark.
Let's talk about the setup for the NCAA championships. Thursday, all you'll see on the floor is mats. How many mats they put out for this championship?
Yeah, it's amazing. We're actually going to be retracting quite a few seats inside the BOK to accommodate it. We will have 8 mats going at once.
Wow.
So there's going to be a lot of action. The first couple rounds that have the 8 mats down, we'll be able to get about 15.5 in the building. So again, it's going to be a pretty crazy crowd. We'll have people all the way up into the nosebleeds, but as you know, the BOK Center doesn't have any bad seats, so you're going to be right on top of the action the whole time.
In college wrestling, for those that aren't as familiar with it, you're not talking about world wrestling and throwing chairs and things like that. This is really the true element of the sport.
There's no doubt. It's amateur sports at its best, and these collegiate athletes, student athletes, are in just peak shape. When you talk about athletes, even when I was growing up, and even back when you were competing,
right. Not in that sport.
But training's just really elevated, and again, the student athletes now, they're just unbelievable. And when you see them in person, just the raw brute strength that they have, it's really quite the spectacle. But what makes us unique is that Oklahoma's a wrestling state.
It's interesting too that Oklahoma's hosted the championship like 5 different times, but this is the first time it's been in Tulsa.
That's correct. It's been some time since it's been in Oklahoma. The last time, I believe, was either 2014, 2015 in Oklahoma City.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. This is the first time. We've been really building into this championship by really hosting almost a lot of the youth and amateur side of events, building into Big 12 wrestling championships, and then eventually getting an NCAA. But again, like I was saying, these things just don't happen. This has been a strategic play of ours for years. And again, we can't do these things without Jack and Shane Roller here in town. We can't do things without Oklahoma USA Wrestling and all of the activations they've done for the state, and USA Wrestling for believing in the state and bringing us national events. And again, it really leads into building a really strong resume.
And we expect to see a lot of the nation's brightest orange in this arena, because Oklahoma State University's got a fabulous wrestling following and a great, incredible tradition. In fact, they are the all-time leader in all college sports, any sport, as far as championships, the Oklahoma State wrestling program.
That's right, and it's a long storied program, and again led by I think one of the best in the business, Coach John Smith. Not only is he a great guy, but man, he knows how to get a team fired up. And again, as I mentioned earlier, they've had a great second half of the season. They had a great showing this past weekend at Big 12, and I think they're really going to make their mark on the NCAAs. I mean, between Plott, Dayton Fix, we've got some really exciting guys stepping to the plate to represent Oklahoma. Coming into this season, Oklahoma State University had won 53 conference championships, 5 national championships, 143 individual NCAA championships, and 483 All-Americans. Unbelievable. Sounds pretty good to me. God, the best, I tell you. So, you Cowboy fans, got them to support it. Let's again review the ticket situation. As far as the Friday, Saturday sessions, those are pretty much gone, right? Pretty much sold out. Sessions 1, 2, and 3 tickets are still available, limited. If you go to the NCAA's website to the championship page, you can purchase tickets there through Ticketmaster. Again, still limited seats available. We definitely encourage you to check out some of the action starting Thursday and Friday. Again, it's going to be a packed downtown, but again, we have a lot of awesome activations that will be happening for fans outside of the arena as well. March 16, 17, 18 at the BOK Center downtown for, again, the NCAA National Wrestling Championship, biggest event in the sport for sure. You got another huge event coming up. They're calling it the Super Bowl of Bass Fishing. Tell us about the Bassmasters returning to this area. Yeah, so we're going to go right from the Super Bowl of wrestling to the Super Bowl of bass fishing. Another event that's been 2 years in the making, and you mentioned earlier about the infrastructure being built up and us being lucky to bring these championships back. Bassmasters no different. By the time it comes next March in 2024, it'll be 8 years since we hosted last, and it's a big deal. We'll have 56 to 58 of the top anglers in the country qualifying throughout the year, coming to Tulsa. They'll be fishing out at Grand Lake. We'll be doing the weigh-in downtown at the BOK Center, and we'll have the Outdoor Expo right across the street at the Cox Business Convention Center. You talk about making an event. People think, what's the excitement about watching a bunch of fish get on a scale? Yeah. But they really have a great atmosphere with that. Yeah, it's incredible. I don't know, most folks probably don't understand how big this event is. And when we say it's the Super Bowl, this one event will bring about 110,000 people to Tulsa. Not only out at the lake, down at the weigh-in, across the street at the Outdoor Expo. It's just really a unique event. And, bass fishing, especially largemouth fishing, has gotten really fun. As these anglers, younger anglers have gotten into the sport, they're very savvy with social media. They're talking to you the whole time. They're giving tips and tricks of the trade, telling you, different techniques to throw and catch these large bass. So again, it's very entertaining. It will be televised on FS1. Joel Koester, head of the Tulsa Sports Commission. Thanks for joining us again, Joel. Appreciate it. Look forward to some more events coming up in the future have you talk about as well. Absolutely. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Thank you, buddy, very much. Enjoy. Get out there and support those Oklahoma State Cowboys. And again, wrestling, NCAA Championships, March 17th, 18th, 19th, down at the BOK Center, 16th, 17th, 18th, down at the BOK Center. We come back, our own Michael Knight's going to join us with his prephoops.com to talk about state high school basketball. That's next.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice with a new owner, a new look, and a new attitude. Save big on season tickets today, 2022-23 season. Tickets starting as low as $17 per month. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers are back.
Remington Park Racing returns with the 2023 Spring Quarter Horse season, running from March 9 to June 3rd. $1 million races, multiple Saturday programs featuring the best horses in big money action, and racing champions all competing throughout the season. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. First race at 6 p.m. nightly, Sunday afternoon racing 4 p.m. The top quarter horse paint and Appaloosa racing season continues through June 3rd at Remington Park.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
I'm joined on the set down by our director, editor of Oklahoma Sports Scene, and the guy who's the inside man on all high school sports. This is our friend Michael Knight. Michael with his basketball website, prephoops.com. And Michael, you've been covering basketball all season long. Now down the stretch, this is championship week in Oklahoma City and in Norman.
Yeah, 6A and 5A. Starting last year, they moved to OU at the Lloyd Noble Center, and so kind of gave Oklahoma City and the surrounding areas that basketball vibe, where before, you know, for almost a decade, 4A, 3A, and 2A would play in Oklahoma City, while 6A and 5A were up in Tulsa. So there's going to be a lot of good basketball at OU at the Fairgrounds Arena in OKC. So if you're a basketball fan, starting on Tuesday, actually, with Class 2A, and then as this airs, Wednesday morning, Wednesday evening, more basketball, and then all the semifinals on Friday, championships on Saturday. So there's going to be a lot of good basketball being played over the next 5 days. Oklahoma City, of course, the arena, they just simply call it the Big House. And boy, it has been the venerable arena for so many years and stuff. You said we were down there last week, and they actually are under construction, right? Redoing the Big House.
Yeah, they started, it's been talked about for years about, how they're going to renovate the Big House. And it's been one of those things that has been, on the to-do list for a long time. But I was down there this past weekend for the Class A and B state championships. And it was good to see construction crews out there actively working on renovations. I've seen all the renderings and all the drawings on what they can expect in the future. Don't know when it's going to be done. I don't know if it's going to be ready for the 2024 championships, but it's going to be pretty special.
A and B are wrapped up. What are your thoughts on that and the best teams there in A and B classes?
Yeah, the top-ranked teams on the boys' side, Caddo in Class A, they have a really good junior in DJ Dill, one of the best players in the state, honestly. Yeah. He helped carry them to a state championship. I expect them to be right back in the mix next year. And then in Class B, another familiar face, Fort Cobb-Broxton, another team that's used to playing on Championship Saturday, another #1 team coming into the state tournament. They win another title, and they were also led by a junior. So on the boys' side, you had 2 juniors leading their teams to championships in the smaller classes, and I expect both of them to be back on the big stage next year. And on the girls' side, Sealing, man, they have a dynasty going on the girls' side of things. They do such a good job out in western Oklahoma with that program. Coach Hamer does a really fantastic job year in and year out getting that program back to the state tournament. And then they dominated once again, so it was really impressive to watch this past week.
Big House will also be the center of attention this week because we will crown champions in 2A, 3A, and 4. Let's break down first the 2A class and some of the top players.
Yeah, I think, honestly, when you talk about 2A, and we talked about it at the end of December, early January, Dayton, Forsyth, and the Dale Pirates. Right. They ran through the entire regular season. They're still undefeated. Last time you and I saw them, they were lifting the Tournament of Champions crown at the BOK Center. And at that point, you were wondering, could this team run the table? Well, you fast forward to right now, they're still undefeated. As we record this, they do open up tournament play on Tuesday. But they're without doubt the favorites. Preston, they'll be in the mix, but Oklahoma Christian Academy, they'll be in the mix. But Dale has been hands down the top team in Class 2A, led by their junior superstar. Again, another junior in Dayton Forsyth. I expect them to probably lift another gold ball. They are the defending champs, and they're #1 for a reason.
3A.
Yeah, I think 3A is a little more wide open. You have defending champion Millwood. They're loaded once again. They have a really good player in Jaden Nickens. But I think that Metro Christian here in the Tulsa area, they have a really good shot. Again, you're catching on to a theme. Juniors, Wyatt Powell, Jackson Sowards. They also have a senior in Mario Darrington. They have a really good and balanced squad. They've been #1 for a large part of the season, and #1 for a reason. I really like them. Out in eastern Oklahoma, Roland is a team to look out for. They've just continued to win games. They have a really talented squad, experience coming off of a state tournament appearance a year ago. So I think that Class 3A definitely is more balanced out when you look at the top teams that are going to contend for a title.
And the last goal of ball handed out at the Big House on Saturday night will be for the Class 4A.
Yeah, and that's been the marquee class this season because of not only all the really good teams, but the star power on all the teams. You talk about Kingfisher, the defending champions. They're going to be right there in the mix. Then you have just a plethora of really good basketball teams. Weatherford, Oklahoma Christian School, Douglas, and then I mentioned Weatherford with C.J. Nixon, their star sophomore. Class 4A, in my opinion, has been the deepest and most competitive class all season. The 8 teams that made it to the state tournament have earned their way to the state tournament. It's without a doubt my favorite class of the week. There's going to be some really good basketball played.
Let's take you down to Norman now to the Lloyd Noble Center. They'll be hosting the big schools, 5A and 6A, and you can look at the 5A and some of the star players in that division.
Yeah, defending champion Memorial, they're back once again with head coach Bobby Allison. Their top players, Jareth Ingram, Seth Pratt, 2 guys that helped lead them to a state championship a year ago. And then kind of similar to 4A, this is another very balanced class. It's been competitive all year. You have Carl Albert, Del City, they're back in the mix once again. Edison, Holland Hall making the trip. And how about Holland Hall? We had Teddy Owens on a couple weeks ago. And all the adversity they've had to deal with being in Class 4A all season, or for half of the season, and then all of a sudden finding out, hey, you're now in Class 5A, and no longer are you trying to get to the Big House, you're trying to get to OU. Well, they're there, and I think they have just as good of a shot as any. I think 5A, kind of similar to 4A, is completely wide open. There's going to be some really good basketball. Del City, they have the best player in the field, Brandon Garrison, who's a McDonald's All-American. He's going to be playing in that game down in Houston later on this month at the McDonald's All-American game. So it's really a wide open bracket in 5A. I'm really excited to get down there.
6A, there'll be a lot of college coaches at the games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're talking about defending champion Edmond North and their stars, T.O. Barrett specifically, I think he really established himself as the top prospect in the state's junior class, in my opinion. And, he's ready to put on a show. And then you have other teams like Broken Arrow, their star, Connor Dow, signed with Oklahoma State. And then how about the Owasso Rams? They knock off Broken Arrow.
Right.
They hand the Tigers their first loss to punch their ticket to state. And at this point, if you don't know about Jalen Montanati, first off, you missed our show about a month ago when we had him on set.
He's how
here.
big?
6'7", only a freshman, and he helped lead them to the state tournament, averaging about 20 points a game. So he's been fantastic. 6A is going to be fun, but when you look at who the favorite is, I got to lean with the defending champion Edmond North Huskies. They did it last year. They basically brought back everybody from that team, so I like Edmond North to win it in 6A.
Michael Knight, again, he'll be back with us next week, of course, to wrap everything up here on his prephoops.com. It's the best way to keep up to date with everything going on with high school basketball in the state of Oklahoma. We'll come right back with our Remington Report from Oklahoma City right after this.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Remington Park Racing returns with the 2023 Spring Quarter Horse season, running from March 9 to June 3rd. $1 million races, multiple Saturday programs featuring the best horses in big money action, and racing champions all competing throughout the season. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. First race at 6 p.m. nightly, Sunday afternoon racing, 4 p.m. The top quarter horse paint and Appaloosa racing season continues through June 3rd at Remington Park.
I'm Bobby Allison, head boys basketball coach of the Tulsa Memorial Chargers, 10-time state champions. You are watching the Oklahoma Sports Scene.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice with a new owner, a new look, and a new attitude. Save big on season tickets today. 2022-23 season. Tickets starting as low as $17 per month. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers are back.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
March 9th, live racing returned to Remington Park in Oklahoma City for their quarter horse and mixed meet. It runs through June the 3rd. Here's our first Remington Park race report with our track announcer Dale Day to look at some preview races getting ready for the new season.
After a couple of months off, Remington Park Racing is set to return. The American Quarter Horse Paint and Appaloosa season for 2023 begins Thursday, March 9th. The opening weekend is dominated by big money futurity and derby trials. A lot of preseason training races have been held for 2-year-olds. Let's take a look at some of those fastest 2-year-olds getting set for their career debuts. On February 15, AS Moonflash put up the top 250-yard training race time for trainer Christian Alcala in the 10th race of the afternoon. All training races at Remington Park are at 250 yards. The next day, temperatures were in the low 30s and the north wind howled with tailwinds around 20 miles an hour. Cam's Relentless flew home with the top time for Clint Crawford, a 3-time leading trainer at Remington Park. Cam's Relentless rolled in training race number 7. On February 22, AJ Rock My Heart won training race 5 for conditioner Wendy Garcia. The number 2 horse just got up over Acapulco Bay while battling a 24-mile-an-hour headwind. AJ Rock My Heart was a $220,000 purchase at the 2022 Heritage Place yearling sale. On February 23rd, race 8 featured the Artiero, winning easily for trainer Guillermo Valdivia. The Artiero was a $180,000 buy at last year's Heritage Place yearling sale. Finally, on March 1st, Little Bit Relentless was very impressive for trainer Guillermo Valdivia, who won 4 training races as the new month started. Little Bit Relentless was a $33,000 Heritage Place yearling sale purchase last fall. Racing is underway March 9th through 12th at Remington Park, featuring the opening weekend of activity. Racing starts 6 p.m. nightly, Sunday racing at 4 p.m. At Remington Park in Oklahoma City, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
Let's recap now some of the top 3-year-old races heading to the Kentucky Derby. We'll start in New York with the Gotham Stakes. Raise Kane, a 3-year-old thoroughbred owned by Tulsa's own Andrew Warren and his wife Rania. Warren won the $300,000 Grade 3 Gotham Stakes on a sloppy racetrack in New York. Raise Kane, a 23-1 long shot from the far outside number 12 post, announced he's a contender. He won that race by 7.5 lengths. Andrew is the president, by the way, of Warren American Oil Company, the son of W.K. and Suzanne Warren, and of course had a number of championship thoroughbreds. Then the big horse, as a 3-year-old class right now, won the Fountain of Youth Stakes. That was Forte. He was last year's juvenile champion, very impressive, winning by 4.5 lengths at Hallandale, Florida, Gulfstream Park. Practical Move on the West Coast won the San Felipe Stakes at Santa Anita. Practical Move won the Grade 2 $400,000 San Felipe Stakes by 2.5 lengths, stamping himself as a Kentucky Derby contender. Then in the older division of horses, one of the real classic races on the West Coast, the Santa Anita Handicap. They call it the Big Cap, the 86th running for older horses. The first victory at Santa Anita's signature race for older horses coming 31 years after 53-year-old Hall of Fame jockey Kent DeSormo had a third Santa Anita Handicap. The Hall of Fame resume on Saturday, the Arcadia, California track. He coaxed his 5-year-old gelding Stiletto Boy to a neck triumph for Eastern Invader Proxy to win the 86th Big Cap at Santa Anita. When we come back, I'll present my Equity Bank's Lincoln's 2 cents worth.
This episode is sponsored by Equity Bank. Athletes work hard day in and day out to improve their game. They put in time and effort to stay in shape and bring their A game for the big day. Our tellers do the same thing with banking. We work hard to serve our communities and keep your money safe. Equity Bank, we never forget it's your money.
Remington Park Racing returns with the 2023 Spring Quarter Horse season, running from March 9 to June 3rd. $1 million races, multiple Saturday programs featuring the best horses in big money action, and racing champions all competing throughout the season. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. First race at 6 p.m. nightly, Sunday afternoon racing 4 p.m. The top quarter horse paint and Appaloosa racing season continues through June 3rd at Remington Park.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We name the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet hitting, pad popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Time now for my closing commentary. It's Equity Bank's Lincoln's 2 cents worth. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the University of Tulsa's first-year head basketball coach, Eric Conkle. I mean, how many coaches do you know that would call a press conference to talk about a season that was 5-24, including a 1-17 American Athletic Conference record? Not many. Coach Conkle did this past Monday. Called the press in, answered all the questions, and showed a real positive spin on this past season. He said he wasn't looking back, looking forward, and said he gave his young, struggling basketball team at the University of Tulsa a bit of a history lesson to let him know that they have the same record as everybody else does now. Everybody is 0-0. The regular season is over, the tournament plays are over, and now it's on to the NCAA championships. 68 teams will go on to the NCAA and all start with 0-0 on their records. Conkle also pointed out the Tulsa fans did a fantastic job this year. Despite the record at home, which was just 4 wins on the home court, the attendance was up 34% at TU. They did a good job of marketing. Coach Conkle has such a positive reaction to everything that people really took to this basketball team. Conkle, by the way, has quite a resume coming to the University of Tulsa. In 7 seasons at Louisiana Tech, he had 6 20-win seasons. He made the postseason 2 other times. So how far can TU go in the tournament? Well, who knows? But Coach Conkle is treating it like a fresh start. A new season, and who knows what can happen in March Madness. Coach Conkle is the right guy for this University of Tulsa team. They got some good recruits coming in. They'll go to the portal. They'll get this thing going around. Had to change some culture here, make some changes. He's doing that with his staff. Hang in there with Eric Conkle. You TU basketball fans will be very happy you did. Well, looking ahead to next week, we thank you, Equity Bank, for my 2 cents worth. We have the Oklahoma Sports Scene. We'll be discussing the NCAA bracket. They'll be all filled out. We're going to go to the bracketology breakfast at ORU on Monday morning and get our brackets filled out. We'll also feature state championship high school coaches. Michael and I will be at the Oklahoma City area to cover all those games for us. Have some coaches here as well as some Zoom calls and hopefully some guys here locally with some gold ball trophies. We'll also catch up with the Tulsa Oilers' first preseason football practices. That'll be this week. Their head coach will be here with us next week on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Until then, be a good sport.